If you're currently dating with the intention of getting married, this episode will help you know what and when to ask in order to assess if you and the people you meet and you date would be compatible for long-term commitment. This doesn't mean that if a person gives you the right answers, he or she is necessarily the one you should commit to. However, these questions will give you a direction and a modality to weed out the people who aren't aligned with you, so you do not invest your time and energy in people who aren't compatible for long-term commitment. This episode is packed with questions and insights, and to make the most of it, I am inviting you to take a piece of paper or to open notes in your phone and to start writing down the questions and the insights you have while you're listening to it. Before we start, I want to make a disclaimer, as I will use the word God throughout the episode, and I would like to clarify that when I say God, I am not referring to a particular religion. For me, God is the creator of all beings and things. You do not need to be part of a religion to know God, but you do need to seek Him and to listen to Him by following His laws and listening to your intuition. God's biggest law is do good and do not do harm. And when you harm yourself or someone else, show you are truly sorry for your actions and do better. As humans, we have flaws and we make mistakes, and that is okay. However, what is asked from us is to learn from our mistakes and become kinder human beings, both with ourselves and with other people and beings. Also, as a human being, I follow the Christian teachings which put God at the center of one's life and ask to love the others as you love yourself. And the other principles like love and forgiveness, humility and gentleness, honesty and truthfulness, nonviolence and non-retaliation, obedience to God, resisting temptation, taking responsibility. Now, let's get into the questions you need to ask to see if you and the other person are aligned for long-term commitment. The first question is, do you want to get married? If so, what does marriage mean to you? If you want to get married, it's natural to look for a person who wants the same thing. While dating, you will meet people who would like a relationship, but who aren't open to marriage for various reasons. If someone doesn't want marriage, you cannot make them want to get married. So if someone says that they do not want to get married, then that is your sign to stop dating that person, even though you might like them or have some things in common. Some people might say that they're open to marriage, but not right now, meaning they see themselves getting married sometimes in the future, but they're not sure when that is going to happen. If your intention for dating is to get married in the next 1, 2, 3 years, then the people who are open to marriage but do not have clarity on when they want to make this commitment might not be the best match for you. In many cases, these people might drag you along and just want the benefits of a relationship without making a real commitment. My advice would be not to give too much time and energy to these people, as they do not have clarity on what they want for their life. And confused people will bring confusion into your life too. You want to keep dating only the person who has a very clear vision on how they want their life to look like in the near future and also on medium and long term. Now, when the other person says that they want to get married in the foreseeable future, then you need to ask them what marriage means to them and why they want to get married. These might seem simple questions, but they aren't. What the other person answers can reveal many things about themselves and their level of emotional and spiritual maturity. Before getting deeper in what healthy reasons for getting married are, I would like to share my perspective on marriage. I do not believe that marriage is a social construct. I believe that marriage is a spiritual covenant meaning that getting married does not mean only signing your names in the marriage register and participating to a ceremony. I believe that marriage is a spiritual contract in which both people decide to make a lifelong commitment towards each other and vow to be loyal, to serve, respect, and love one another, both in the good and also in the bad periods of life. One shouldn't get married just because they have certain needs to be met, or they've reached a certain age, or they want a certain status, or their parents and friends are insisting for them to getting married, or their religion asks them to be married in order to be physically intimate with someone. A person should only get married because they are called by God towards A, building a life with another person, as we are not designed to do life alone. There are very few people who are genuinely called towards monastic life. The rest of us have other purposes in the world. If God calls you towards doing something in the world, whether this is creating a family or serving a community or inventing something or protecting your country or being a teacher or a builder or a cook or an engineer or whatever God has called you to do in the world, then God will also give you someone to support you in this purpose. This person will give you more strength, power, and energy for your purpose. So when dating, pay attention to who genuinely respects and admires what you do and can support you in doing what God has called you to. Someone who is not supportive of your purpose cannot be your spouse. A second good reason for getting married is becoming one with another person and moving through life like one team towards the same goals and legacy. Marriage is challenging because it's not only about you anymore. In whatever decision you make, you also need to take into consideration the well-being of your spouse and of your children if you have them. That is why it's very important for the person you choose to have similar aspirations in life. If you want a family, do they want that too? If you want to live a peaceful life at the countryside, do they want that too? If you want to build a business, do they want that for you and can they support you throughout the process? Also, it's important to choose a person who wants to leave a similar legacy as you, or at least they can support you in building your own legacy, whether that legacy is children or a house or a book or something that you create or a new way of doing things in a certain field. A third good reason for getting married is learning how to love and support another person like you love and support yourself. This implies becoming more loving and less selfish without losing your true self in the process. Marriage requires a level of death from your unhealthy ego because you need to accommodate also the needs and the desires of another person. Also, your spouse will see you exactly as you are, with the good, the bad, and the ugly, and they will reflect the things you need to transform. Personal responsibility and growth are at the core of a healthy marriage, and it's something both of you will need to do in order to thrive on long term. If you are not willing to become better, then do not get married. A fourth good reason for getting married is creating something new through making and raising children and or doing something good in the world and leaving the world better than you found it. We are all creative beings, and our creativity can be expressed through making babies or making art or writing or baking or creating a business or anything else that implies coming up with something new or improving something that already exists. The core idea is that the right person for you can and will support your dreams and purpose, and you'll be able to create something new with them and leave that as a legacy to your children, your community, and the world. I believe that marriage is the most challenging personal development journey that exists. And I think that the reasons many people get divorced are because 1, they do not marry the person God has for them. We can make decisions based on our unhealthy ego or based on our soul. Our soul knows who the best person for us is, but most people are disconnected from their souls and they live from their unhealthy egos. So, if you want to marry the best person for you, you need to develop a stronger relationship with your soul and with God. Now, it doesn't mean that if you marry the person God has for you, everything will be sunshine and rainbows, because that's unrealistic. You will have challenges. However, what it means is that you'll have God's support through them and you'll be able to go through hard times with more peace and joy and less suffering. The second reason why many people get divorced is because they see marriage as a worldly contract that can be canceled when they want. Marriage is a covenant, meaning it's a sacred agreement and promise you make to another person, and it's governed by God's laws. Divorce has become so spread in today's society because many people see marriage like a partnership which you can simply dissolve when you want to without any solid reasons. Well, that is not how God created marriage. While there are certain reasons that are valid for divorce, like infidelity, abandonment, and verbal, emotional, physical, financial abuse, the rest of the reasons do not stand in God's eyes, at least according to the Christian teachings. If a couple doesn't have kids, it's easier to get divorced. But when there are kids involved, it gets messy because all children need their mother and father in order to thrive. Of course, presuming that their mother and father are healthy and caring human beings. Single-parent homes and remarriage are not the ideal space for children, and many of them start having various problems. If you want children, then you need to take marriage very seriously and choose a person who is mature enough to stay married and support you in raising the children. Both of you need to take divorce off the table and figure it out when you have challenges. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse or infidelity. What it means is that both of you commit to becoming the best versions of yourselves and that you also commit to supporting and caring one another so your love stays alive. The adults need to stop making children the collateral damages of their immaturity. And the third reason why many people get divorced is that they are not willing to grow and become better. Marriage is hard because you are supposed to spend your whole life with this person. You are supposed to love and support them through the good, the bad, and the ugly. You are supposed to serve them even when you are not feeling it. You are supposed to care for them to the best of your abilities. You are supposed to be there for them when they need you. Of course, all of these need to be done within reason and without harming one's dignity. Caring for your spouse shouldn't come at the cost of your overall well-being or of you doing your purpose in the world. The idea is to support one another and to pour into each other so both of you feel taken care of, respected, and loved. Many people get divorced because they are just too immature for this kind of commitment and do not want to become more loving, more compassionate, more forgiving, have more self-control, be kinder and better as a human being. So before you ask someone else the questions, what does marriage mean to you and why do you want to get married? Do some reflecting yourself and think about what marriage means to you and why you want to get married. Are you capable of making a lifelong commitment to someone else whom you'll need to take care and support through the good, the bad, and the ugly? Of course, this is not to say that you have to neglect your needs or to disregard your values and life principles in order to serve your partner, because that wouldn't be a healthy relationship. It's only to say that your future spouse has needs, desires, and dreams, and you'll have to care for them in the majority of the time, the same way they will have to do for you too. After listening to this, what is your perspective on marriage? Do you see marriage as a lifelong commitment or just a partnership that can dissolve when one of you chooses to? Do you see marriage like a journey towards becoming a better person and a spouse, or only as a place to get some of your needs met? Moving forward, the second question to ask yourself and the other person is, what do you think that are the roles and the responsibilities of a wife and of a husband in a marriage? I once heard a rabbi say that many marriages fail because the man and the woman remain man and woman after marriage and they do not become husband and wife. The truth is that for a marriage to be mutually fulfilling and successful on long term, both partners need to be aware of and fulfill certain responsibilities towards each other, which are specific to what the masculine energy needs from the feminine energy and what the feminine energy needs from the masculine energy. While both men and women have both masculine and feminine energy, for a marriage to work, the man needs to be mostly in his masculine energy and the woman needs to be mostly in her feminine energy. That is why both men and women need to pay a lot of attention if they are in the masculine, respectively feminine energy in the relationship. Because the masculine energy is only attracted to the feminine energy, and the feminine energy is only attracted to the masculine energy. In today's world, the responsibilities of a husband and of a wife are not so clear anymore because women have also stepped in more into the role of the provider, which is not necessarily a problem. But when a woman needs to be mostly in her masculine energy, she won't switch back into her feminine energy that easily, which can lead to conflicts and to the dissipation of sexual attraction in time. That is why both partners need to be more conscious of what supports the feminine energy, respectively the masculine energy. After all the research and embodiment work I've done throughout the years, my conclusion is that the husband's role is to protect, provide, and cherish, and that the wife's role is to respect, admire, and nurture. How does this look in real life? These are some examples. As a husband, your responsibility is to physically, emotionally, and spiritually protect your family by keeping your wife and children safe from anyone or anything that could harm them. This could be a stranger that wants to rob your house, or even someone from your own family who doesn't like your wife and speaks badly of her. Also, providing for your family and children doesn't mean only making money. It also means making sure you develop a deep emotional connection with them by spending time together and doing activities that create emotional intimacy. The cherishing aspect involves expressing your affection towards your wife, surprising her with small gestures and presents, respecting her boundaries, acknowledging her efforts, listening to her, complimenting her, taking her out on dates, helping her with various chores, supporting her in achieving her dreams, etc. As a wife, respecting your husband means speaking to him kindly, appreciating the things he does for you and your family, expressing your needs and desires in a respectful manner without criticizing or yelling at him. Admiring your husband can look like celebrating his achievements, supporting his dreams and goals, being by his side when he's going through difficult times, speaking highly of him to other people, showing him through your words and actions that you think he's an amazing man and husband. Nurturing your husband can look like listening to him without judging him, encouraging him, being affectionate, sensual, and sexual with him, taking care of his needs, being relaxed and fun around him, encouraging him to spend time with his friends and rest more, complimenting him. So, as a man, what do you think your responsibilities are towards your future wife? And as a woman, what do you think your responsibilities are towards your future husband? I'm inviting you to really do some deep thinking about this because if you want a mutually fulfilling lifelong marriage, both of you need to stop being a man and a woman and become a husband and a wife to each other. Connected to this question is question number 3, which is, what do you need to receive in a relationship for you to be your best self and to feel respected and loved? Knowing what you need to receive from your spouse is critical in feeling loved, respected, and cared for on long term. We all have needs and desires, and if the other person cannot give you what you need most of the time and you cannot do the same for them, then you are not a very good match. For example, let's say that one way you feel respected and loved is when your partner is loyal, speaks kindly, and they are physically affectionate. Can the person you are dating do this easily and happily? Meaning, can you see that they are someone with integrity, that they speak kindly and they enjoy touching you? And yes, in the early dating process, you might not experience a lot of physical affection, but are they at least open to holding hands, give you hugs, kisses, caresses, and are they warm and happy to be around you? Or let's say that two important needs you have is to be taken care of in pragmatic ways by your partner, paying the bills, and by having deep conversations with your partner. Is the other person happy to provide for you, or do they want to be in a 50-50 relationship? Also, can you have deep and meaningful conversations with them, or are they more shallow in their thinking? The idea is to discover what you are happy to provide to the other person and what the other person is happy to offer to you. Meeting your partner's most important needs shouldn't be something that either of you feels like a burden, but something that feels easy and natural for both of you to do most of the time. This doesn't mean that you'll be able to fulfill your partner's most important needs all the time, but at least 80% of the time. To discover the most important needs you have in a relationship, answer these questions. What do you need to receive in a relationship to be your best self? What has lacked in your previous relationships and made you unhappy or miserable? How do you feel loved and respected? Give some conscious thought to these questions and make a list of your needs. And then rate these needs from 1 to 10, where 10 is your most important need. While no one person can fulfill all your needs all the time, the idea is to choose a partner who can fulfill your most important needs most of the time, and that you can do the same for them. And that both of you can do this without losing yourselves or having to become someone who you are not. Stop dating people who cannot or will not meet your most important needs in a relationship, because otherwise you are signing up for divorce. Our needs are very important, and we simply cannot thrive around people who cannot meet them. The fourth question is, what do you need to give in a relationship so you feel helpful and loving? Each of us needs to receive and to give something for a relationship to be mutually fulfilling. That is why you need to ask yourself first what you need to give to the other person in order for you to feel helpful to them. We all need to feel helpful to other people. It's something that comes natural to anyone who is a decent human being. The things you can offer can be anything from a material thing or to a quality or a skill that you possess. For example, your joyful smile, your wisdom, your sense of humor, your intelligence and problem-solving skills, your physical strength, your affection, your cooking skills, your driving skills, your experience in a certain field, your calmness and patience, your courage and your resilience, your material resources, your creativity, your sexual energy, etc. So before asking the other person this question, ask yourself what you need to give in a relationship so you feel helpful to your partner. And make a list with all the things you want to give to your future spouse. Put on this list qualities, skills, and other resources that you possess and which could improve both of your and their life. This question works good with the question about the needs that you need to have fulfilled. So when you start asking people this question, pay attention to two things. Is what the other person has to offer in a relationship something you need or want to receive? And is what you can offer in a relationship something that the other person needs and wants? For example, let's say someone you date says that they need to give their affection and their cooking in order to feel helpful to their spouse. Is this something you'd love to receive? Or let's say that you need to give to your spouse in order to feel helpful is your sense of humor and your ambition. You like making people laugh and you are very driven towards achieving goals. Are these qualities something this person is looking for in their partner? To sum up, the 4 questions you need to ask both yourself and the person you are dating to assess long-term compatibility are: 1. Do you want to get married? If so, what does marriage mean to you? What are the reasons for which you want to get married? 2. What do you think are the roles and the responsibilities of the wife and of the husband in a marriage? 3. What do you need to receive in a relationship for you to be your best self and to feel respected and loved? 4. What do you need to give in a relationship so you feel helpful and loving? Tune into next episode to discover the rest of the questions. Until then, keep evolving, loving, and creating. Bye!